Hello, how are you doing, dear sister goddess, dear sister friend? This is Tyrone Milade, your goddess guru. And you know, I love helping the women, the sisters, live in alignment with their life purpose, using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. How are you all doing? Welcome to this last week, March 2022. Oh my goodness. Is time passing or is time passing, this dear sisters? So yeah, I am excited to be here today and to share with you all just a little bit. Let me get my little banner going because guess what? Y'all know I got something going on. You know why I have something going on? I have this going on because I want you all to walk empowered. Okay. I want to make sure I give you all the tea, spill all the tea on this new moon in Aries, give you an opportunity to be in circle, the power of women coming together in circle to set your personal intentions. But you know, when women come together, the world become when we come together and in the name of our power, our feminine power, the world is a better place. Like they don't even have to know we're getting together. It's just a better place. So I would love to have you join me in the new moon circle and workshop, which will be on April the 1st. Yes, there is a replay. So if you can't make it, guess what? The circle is for those who are there, and I include the sisters who watch it on replay. But I would love to have you there live, and we'll do some ritual, and I'll help you to understand what does this new moon mean for you. What what possibilities lie in this new moon in Aries? Such an important moon. And, one of my jobs is to let y'all know we didn't try stuff other ways. I just want you to give the goddess centered lifestyle, the goddess way, a little bit of a try in terms of how you lead God and direct your life. And one of the ways we do that is through working with the moon and coming together in circle, coming in together as women. It's so much power. We need each other. So I wanted to come on today and talk a little bit you will see where you can register in the description box. So come on and join us. Come on and join us. So, I wanted to come on today and talk a little bit about what's going on this week and just to give you some wisdom to think about for this week. Yeah, let's talk about this really quickly. So, a lot of interesting things are happening and unfolding. You can see all the planets are on one side of the chart. So it really does kind of speak to this energy that's concentrated and largely hyper focused in just a few areas in the astrological wheel. And that's how a lot of us may feel. We may feel like it's just a lot of pressure, tensity, energy. And well, that's just how I think it feels. Like just a lot. You just feel a lot going on the inside. Maybe nothing is necessarily wrong. Um, Maybe it is, but it may not necessarily be anything wrong, but you just feel like, oh my gosh, I just feel like it's just too much going on right now, whatever that means for you. So some of that is, you know, you can see it in the chart. We do have quite a bit of energy that is about it's like a mix. It's this energy of um, liberation, purging, releasing, and letting go, and surrender. Actually, one of the energies that spoke through the Metanetter for the Goddess Body Mind Spirit community is White Chat Positive. And White Chat is the energy of the eclipses. So I do want to begin to let you all know you need to get your mind on the eclipses and the eclipses on your mind. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to let y'all know. Um because Pisces is about liberation. It's about endings, and then something new is going to begin. um we just had the sun move out of it, and so now the sun is in in Aries, as you can see. And, we got all this spring energy happening. But a lot of us, if you're like me, it feels a little heavy still. And that's because everybody ain't made it to Aries. Well, we see Mercury just got there. But we have all these planets that are in the latter part of the chart. We have 3 planets up here in Aquarius. We have 3 planets. The sun, the moon will be out of there, but we have 2 heavy hitting planets, Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces. And so it's like tying up loose ends, finishing or, like giving birth to something at the last minute or really getting ahead on something maybe that you've been working on. And then it's sort of like this energy of liberation, purging, releasing, letting go so that you can move forward. And combine that with this energy of the eclipses, it feels otherworldly. I'm gonna have to go live to see what y'all think, but it sort of feels otherworldly right now. Otherworldly in the sense that it's like you sense something. You may not exactly know what you're sensing, but you sense it. And it's like, what do I do with this? Right. So, number one, trust your intuition is very important this week. Trust your gut. I'm going to tell y'all, this is interesting because I went to the grocery store and then I came home and I don't typically think too much of the people that I see in my neighborhood. I live in a cul-de-sac, not exactly at the end of the cul-de-sac, but I just don't see a whole lot of people down on my part of the street because it's not a through street. But as I pulled in, I saw a young man walking and he had his face covered up. In the pandemic time, it's like not odd. But the first thing that went through my mind is that's odd because in Tennessee, pandemic ain't never shut us down. For the most part, seeing people walk around outside without mask on is unheard of here. And it was not one of the masks that you're trying to protect yourself from, getting spreading something or getting something. You know how some people just take their like whatever the things are, like a bandana. It wasn't a bandana, but it was just not a mask. But you pull it up, you just pull your shirt up or something like that. It was more of like that kind of thing. And then there was a second one coming, and immediately I felt nervous. I was like, something doesn't look right about this. And I didn't even go into like, okay, did they just get off the school bus? There's no school bus dropping kids off that coming from that direction. And I was like, I don't know. So I sat in my car. I was like, I'm not getting out of my car. I don't know why. I just don't feel comfortable. And then I saw another guy. Same thing. Both of them had these little masks that were right over their nose. I'm like, maybe they just got off the school bus. And I just had to tell myself that. And I waited for them to pass by. And then I saw a third person. This person looked not white, but I was like, is someone, I don't know. He was different. He was different looking from these young men who were African American. And I'm like, what is going on? They all had on black. Turns out the guy is Middle Eastern and he walks up to me because they all walked down the street and then they came back. And he was like, they just stole from my store. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I knew something was up. It was just like my spidey senses went off immediately. And that's what now, I don't know where they went. I was like, I don't know anything. I saw them walk up the street and I had convinced myself they were getting off the school bus. It was 1 o'clock. They were not getting off the school bus. And there's no school bus that drops kids off that way. One of them looked like he could be in high school, another one not so much. But anywho, I was just like, I knew it. I knew something wasn't right. And instead of convincing myself, well, you're probably just being ultra sensitive, you whatever. No. And so I just want to put that out there. Sorry the story was so long. I sort of processed with y'all. But trust your intuition. That's something that's very important um this week. And the other thing is be open and ready for downloads. See, what's happening with these eclipses is there's a part of the eclipse that's like This is where you need to go. So I just want to encourage you. It may not feel comfortable going in a new direction, but I mean, like for real, we've been going in a new direction for how long? Like seriously, that's what we're doing right now. There's no stuck in stagnation. Go. And so it's like all these ideas may be coming to you, and write them down. Have a place to write the ideas down, but you may get a stroke of genius this week. Guess what we'll take away from it? The second card I pulled was Heru negative. It could be your conditionings, limiting beliefs like, no, not me. Why am I thinking this way? It could be something in terms of an idea, a business download, something that will help you to make progress. It could be something like with me, like I just pick up something is wrong. Like in this moment, something's wrong. Um, and instead of talking myself out of it, like, why you want to just think something is wrong, just because you see these young men or whatever. I don't think that typically though. So it didn't even cross my mind. But anywho, just trusting myself on this doesn't feel right. Could be whatever it is. Maybe it's not anything that involves a crime. Um, but we'll be like, no, I'm talking myself out of it. A lot of people talk themselves out of like picking up on relationship red flags. Don't do that. Pay attention to the red flags with your relationships. It could be too much emotion. You're just letting your emotions run amok. And instead of seeing maybe these emotions are showing me some limiting belief. Because, one of the coaches I work with, she talks about how people will make a decision to do something, and then it's like a bell or alarm will go off. Like it's something new. And it's really all we need to do is just be like, "Oh, I'm just nervous." That's it. I just need to acknowledge, no, it's not that anything is wrong. I'm nervous. Or maybe there's some limiting belief I have about, can I really do this? Is this really for me? So those are the things that may make us slip, trip, and fall. This week, another thing that may prevent us from like really being open to hearing from spirit would be lack of discipline. Like we weren't at the right place at the right time to even get the message. We're busy. Maybe we're busy caught up with something that's a little dramaful. And it's like once our mind goes into a certain energy, we're not open to hearing from spirit. It could be just something about the past, or maybe something with a person in leadership, a male, maybe a father figure, something like that could be throwing you off this week, which would mess up your ability to hear. So it's important this week to, well, I'm going to go to the goddess oracle deck that I have here. One of the cards that I pulled is the Kuan Yin card. She's about having compassion and being very gentle with ourselves. That's important. Like, I always used to say the world is going to beat you up. So you may as well treat yourself well. Like, don't beat yourself up to keep the world from beating you up. Time out for that. Um, Go ahead and love on yourself. And that Pisces actually, today is March 29th. The moon is in Pisces. It'll be there until 30th, 31st. So, these next couple of days, offer yourself some compassion, that compassion of Pisces, that self-care, maybe do something artsy and fun, do something spiritual that will help to, um, yeah, bring gentleness, and connection to your spirit or the divine, your way. So yeah, I think that's really important for us to recognize. It's a lot going on right now. And we have Venus right here conjunct Saturn. And so I like Venus conjunct Saturn. Venus actually can be a little bit emotional. And so when she's with Saturn, it brings more sobriety. It brings more stability in terms of our emotions. And I will say it's Saturn is like a get real type of energy. So some of us may feel like we've had a get real moment this week about relationships or maybe about our money, maybe a get real about like, what am I really desiring or what do I really value? Some people may wake up and be like, you know what? I say I value fill in the blank, but apparently I don't because I'm receiving proof that this is low on my my totem pole of priorities and I need to make a decision. You know, am I going to really prioritize this and make this a value? Um it could be you want to adopt the values of whatever it is you're wanting to make progress on or whatever goal you want to achieve. Um, because sometimes what stops us is we don't have the values of whatever that thing is. So I don't know why I just heard talk about writing. People who want to write whatever it is, blogs, books, whatever, um, they have to have the values of a writer in order to make sure all of that happens. And if you are lacking the values of a writer, then you're not gonna write. And it's anything. If you lack the values of somebody who is for sure someone who exercises daily, you will not exercise daily. How do you do that? You can just adopt the values of people, like study people who are doing what you want to do, see what they value, and that will help you to make progress. That once you adopt those values, that'll help you to make progress. I will say we also have the sun very close to Chiron. I'm like, oh my God, that is so painful. Like it could be opening up some of our wounds. Um, and it could be Chiron is asking us to love on. Because see, the sun is what is our natural genius. And so Chiron might be saying, this wound is preventing you from actually um, embracing fully and expressing into the world your gift. And so I just encourage you to whatever's calling for healing, and this is a healing that might stem from some hurt that happened a while ago. Then I want you to understand that's coming up right now. Some people are really going to feel like this is painful. It could be the Aries, the Leos, because it's the sun. So that makes the Leos get activated, right? So a lot of Leos might be feeling like, ooh, something hurt me. Um, but it's coming up for you to release it and let it go. The other thing that I want to encourage you to do is to embrace anything that you see as a flaw as a gift. That was one of my gifts that I got last year. No, 2020, when I went through this program called Manifestation Babe Academy. Went in wanting to manifest, more in my business as well as to transform my weight. And when I finished, I came out like, oh, I needed to heal up my identity. And, sometimes you see things happen and it feels like it's so hard to be fill in the blank, whatever that is. So for me, it's a Black woman. It feels heavy at times. And by the time I came out of that, I was like, oh, like totally to be a Black woman is a gift. Like there's nothing in the world that could convince me otherwise. Like 100%. I don't care what anyone says. 100. One of my chief gifts is being a Black woman. Um, you know, and how do we use something that you used to see as a negative about yourself as a positive? So, it'll free you up. Talking about liberation, it will free you when you start thinking to yourself, yeah, that's actually my gift. Um, let's say you've done something in the past and you thought it was like the worst thing ever, even though it's not you anymore. Some people I think of are people who've had an addiction. Once had an addiction, no longer addicted. How do you turn that into something that's no longer are tarnished? And this is when you see people take their story and turn it into something that now inspires people. I think that's what we need to be thinking about doing this week also. How can you turn your pain, this thing about you that you think is the worst, into like one of the greatest gifts you can offer to the world and especially yourself. I remember also the Venus conjunct Saturn is squaring the North Node down here in Taurus. And so it's another reason why I'm saying you want to embrace change. There's an activation that's going on in Taurus. And in general, Taurus is about money, our stuff, our material stuff, storage, and self care. It's a bit of an artsy sign, also. Nature, Mother Earth, healing. It's definitely a healing sign, personal finance, and banks, libraries, they're ruled by this. But I think it's important for us to realize that something about this Taurus theme, or it could be the house, just depending on what your sign is activating. And I'm just going to relate it to values and really this new direction that Taurus is calling us into is important for us to realize. This is something that we will be, it's like something may irritate you to go in this new direction. You're just like, forget it. Let me just do it. Or maybe you didn't even see it before, but something happens and now you're like, I'm getting ready to do this thing. And you just feel a little bit irritated. And that's what gets you moving. Um, Not a lot going on this week, actually. Let me see here. Yeah, Venus conjunct Saturn. Mercury moved into Aries, so I'm excited about that. And then we have the new moon in Aries. Now, let's look at that. Uh, Close to the new moon in Aries is a conjunction between who is it? The Sun and Mercury. Okay, the Sun and Mercury. So that's interesting. Um, Essentially, whenever something conjuncts with the Sun, the way I have been taught is it gives you a download. So again, next at the end of the week, going into the top of the week, I honestly believe it's a time where we can get some really good, just like ingenious downloads, or maybe we'll have a download of wisdom that gives us perspective on something and we can see things in a new way. Maybe we get some creative solutions that we've been looking for. And it might have something to do with our bodies. It might have something to do with like something with new beginnings. Maybe you'll get a fresh new start or a fresh new perspective on new beginnings. Um, I do think that this is a week, especially once we get to around Thursday, to um, it's a good week to set your intentions and plant those seeds, within yourself on a piece of paper somewhere. Uh, it's really good for, you know, visualizing and seeing what you want and setting it in motion through the inner workings. I was going to go over my mythical goddess deck, but I think what I'm going to do is just go live and do that. So join me if you see this video for that. But I will go ahead and give the affirmations because this video is long enough. I didn't want it to be this long. So, um, this one is I am inspired. I love that one. I am inspired. I rise into my own strength and creativity. I didn't even realize it. I honestly think this is a week where we can be inspired. I really do think this is a week of inspiration. Maybe we are inspired to purge and release. Maybe we're inspired and just getting some great downloads. And I am focused. I devote my energy to what truly matters. I am focused. I'm gonna give the week to two goddesses. One, I'm gonna immediately give it to Yemoja just because of that energy in Pisces, and this call for nurturance and caring for ourselves, and Oya. Like Oya is in charge until like June. Oya will be invoked every week until June because these eclipses are not playing with us. They are not playing with us. So thank you all so much for being here. And like I said, I'm going to go live and we'll talk about the Goddess Tarot deck and just have a nice little discussion. Again, please join me in the New Moon Workshop. And I appreciate you so much for being here. I'm wishing you a wonderful, wonderful week. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. What stood out for you, dear Goddess, dear sister friend? All right. Y'all take care. Peace.